Thailand has just legalized casinos. Gambling, I assume, will follow. Good afternoon, good evening, sawadee krap, how are you? Let's have a chat about this because I can see major implications for a lot of Thai people here. Firstly, let's look at the negatives and then we'll have a little talk about the positives. People have said increased risk of gambling addiction. Absolutely. So in Australia, for instance, gambling is legal. Casinos are legal, betting on dogs and horses, all legal. But for a lot of people, gambling is almost a mental health condition, right? It's addictive and there are so many programs in place. There's support groups, there's self-help groups, self-bans from poker machine rooms and casinos. There is constant ads on our free-to-air TV and the internet encouraging Australians not to overdo it with gambling or be aware that you're going to likely lose your money. So all these things are in place to support this thing, right? And I assume they've been developed over decades and decades, right? Thailand will probably be going into this with none of that harm reduction stuff, none of those support networks whatsoever, especially outside of the city. I've spent a fair bit of time in regional Thailand now. I've lived in Thailand for the last 18 months, if people are not familiar with this channel. I've been up to Isaan a fair bit and there is addiction there, right? There is a significant amount of meth addiction to the little yaba tablets, amphetamines tablets. Alcoholism is rife. Please argue with me, anybody. Through those things comes poor mental health. I made a video when I was up there about a year ago with my ex-girlfriend and I was talking about depression and anxiety and mental health. And she said, oh, no, that's not a thing up here. One of the people in the village, they're struggling with this stuff. They won't go to the doctor and ask for help because it doesn't exist. Please, somebody let me know in the comments. I would be very interested to know if there's even a word for addiction in Thai. Hit me down below. Number 2, moral and cultural concerns. Thailand has strong cultural and religious values, and the introduction of casinos may conflict with these traditional beliefs, leading to societal division, backlash from conservative groups. I don't think that's such an issue. Crime and social issues. Absolutely, this is a thing. While legalized gambling could reduce illegal gambling. That's a great point. If you introduce legal gambling, then at least there's some parameters to it. It might also lead to an increase in other social problems. Not might, 100% will. Look at any other country in the world. Thailand's no different. Such as organized crime, money laundering, and it says here, sex work. Absolutely. This is such a big thing for Thailand. Negative impact on local communities. Local residents near casinos may face a variety of negative social consequences, including increased crime, higher living costs, and a decrease in property values, or an increase in your property values if you happen to be in walk's distance to the local casino. It's so strange culturally. I get it. They're in a massive deficit. Thailand has suffered unimaginably economically through COVID and after COVID. That's why we've had all the visa changes, the DTVs come in, all these legislative changes to try and, scrape back some of that money. And this is just, they don't want to do this. There's no way. It has been outlawed so intensely for so long. One of those laws that you don't hear about much is the law against carrying playing cards, like, a pack of kings and queens and jacks, and you are not allowed to carry more than one pack of playing cards at any given time. I've seen it with the girls in Pattaya. They might be sitting out the back of their, villa, sitting on the ground and having a quiet game of cards perhaps with a bit of money, perhaps not. God forbid a police car goes past, those girls will pack up their cards and scatter like mice. That's how deeply entrenched the do not gamble mentality is here. Oh, number 5, this is a big one. Increased debt and financial problems. Everyone buys things on tick in Thailand. Things that you would never even consider you would take out a loan for or put on layaway. They do it. They do it in Thailand. Everybody has debt. There was a girl I was hanging out with the other day and she has I think it's a 400,000 baht debt for a brand new Kawasaki motorbike that she's bought for some boy she's in love with back in the village. Debt and personal and family financial problems, it is already a massive thing here. anything that stokes that fire, I think, is a terrible thing for Thai community. You know who's really going to suffer? The poor people here. Families and individuals on low income, they're the people that are really going to suffer from this. The government will be okay. It will probably boost the economy, right? And then that money can go back into services, roads, hospitals, road safety, helmet advertising safety. You've already got alcoholism, right? In the villages and debt, severe debt. Imagine if you throw a blanket of gambling addiction on top of that. What's the result of that? My gosh. Now let's look on the bright side. Let's look at some positives. All right, number one, economic growth. Legalizing casinos could generate significant revenue through taxes, licensing fees, and tourism. Absolutely. That's all good stuff for Thailand. This could be invested in public services such as healthcare. We've already talked about this. Education, infrastructure development, absolutely. Where every casino goes, there'll be a garden and hotels around that and a pool and restaurants. So that's good. Legal gambling industry would create thousands of jobs in hotels, entertainment, security, and all tourism-related sectors. If you're visiting Thailand to go to the casino, presumably you're not spending all 24 hours a day of your holiday in there, day in, day out. You're gonna spend your money elsewhere as well, if you've got any left. Thailand could attract international tourists who are looking for legal gambling options. This could lead to an increase in tourism-related businesses, benefited blah, blah, blah. A legalized gambling industry would be subject to government oversight, allowing for more effective regulation and protection against unfair practices, cheating, and organized crime. By legalizing it, it is, in a way, a bit of a harm minimization strategy within itself. Yeah, I could go with that. Investment in infrastructure, absolutely. Airports, roads, public transport, local communities. I mean, in an infrastructure and economic way, the local communities around these gambling sites or casinos, they're all gonna benefit, like early, straight off the bat. To change a cultural expectation with a change of law overnight, it is such a pivot. It's such a pivot. I can't believe there hasn't been more public debate about this in the lead up. The decision in Parliament yesterday was just made and bang, that's it, it's done. Diversification of the economy, that's also a positive. Casino, gambling industry could diversify Thailand's economy, which is currently heavily reliant on industries like agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism, providing a new stable source of income. Obviously, that's why they've done it. That's why the government's decided to go down this route. I mean, all industries come with trouble, but this one, the trouble that comes with this industry, it grabs a hold of the low-income people and shakes them, and people that are super wealthy, they're pretty well safe. They're in the greens. So please go nuts in the comments. This is a very new thing. I don't really know how I feel about it. I haven't put much thought into this prior to me just hearing the announcement just then. In the next few days, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of new videos come out by people that know Thailand and then know its history much better than me. So consider this an introductory until those brainiacs come out with something better. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah.